Football Unknown.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new episode of the Football Unknown podcast, man. We're on episode 43, guys. We're pushing 50. We're trying to push 50 before the summer ends, so let's see how it goes. But today, we have one of very special guests, man. I've been trying to get this guy on the pod for over a year now, and we finally made it happen. So before we start the podcast off, I'm going to have him introduce himself, and we're going to get right into it. So guest, tell him your name, your age, where you're from, and stuff like that before we start.
So my name is Shaq. First of all, thank you for having me again here. It's a pleasure. I know it's been coming for a while, and I'm finally able to make it because we solved all the technical issues. But I'm Shaq. I'm from Ghana originally, but I've been in the U.S. for the past 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
I came here for high school. Then after high school, I went to Duke University, where I spent I spent a year and a half. And then after that, I signed for Orlando last season.
Wow.
So, it's great to be here.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
we've been wanting to do this forever, so it's amazing to finally be here.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to kick it off. So, I think a big part of what makes you who you are is being from Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
So I want us to touch up on that first. But before we dive into that, I'm going to ask you the famous question that we ask every guest on the Football Unknown podcast. When can you recall the first time that you fell in love with the game of soccer? Can you recall that moment?
I don't recall the exact moments, but I remember in my house we had, there was a bit of construction going on, and it had been going on since, whenever, since I was born. I could see the construction, and we had a set of walls at our house, and I remember getting my first soccer ball when I was probably around 4.
Okay.
And the only thing I would do all day was kick the ball on the wall all day, and from then on, I just knew I was in love with soccer, and I've been playing ever since. My parents knew from then also that I loved it, and everyone kind of, bought in to my goal of ultimately being able to play professionally someday. But yeah, I can always remember just kicking the ball on the wall, and I would say that's when my love of the game started because, I was isolated alone, and it would be just me and myself just kicking on the wall. So I think, that's when my passion for the game probably started.
Okay, so were you an only child?
Nah, I actually had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. So
Okay. Were you the only one that really enjoyed soccer or really, started to grow a passion for it?
I would say, in Ghana, especially where I come from, in Kumasi, a lot of people just play for fun. So it's almost like a cultural thing to play football. So everyone played, and my brothers played, but, at a certain age, I think they just kind of diverted into other stuff. And then, when I fell in love with it, I was the one really in the family that gave it a go.
Okay.
And then I was like, this is it for me, and I want to follow through with this passion, and I went for it.
Okay. So we know in Ghana there's a big culture around soccer. But we also know that, parents tend to push their kids to, take academics more seriously, right? Because, what's the likelihood of making it out of the village, right? To go play pro. So when did you start playing for a club? How old were you when you started playing for a club in Ghana?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I remember when I was really young. School-wise, I wasn't bad, I was decent. I was decently smart, and I always got decent grades. I don't know why. I wasn't working crazy hard, but I always got decent grades. And my parents, they knew, I was good at school, and they wanted to kind of push me towards that way. But my love for the game was just too much, and it kind of conquered the ambition for me to take school seriously. So at a certain point, I joined the club when I was probably 7, and it was a local team.
Okay.
My coach, amazing guy, I still talk to him every week, almost every day actually.
Yep.
Unbelievable guy. He took me in his wings. He would visit my family, and they'll kind of let me go with him, go train.
Absolutely.
So I think I didn't play organized football until I was probably 7.
Since you were 7.
Yeah. So then it started, and once I started playing, I had all this fantasy about, playing professionally, buying my mom a house, my dad, all those stuff. So the fantasy kind of kicked in, probably when I was around 7.
Okay.
And then from then, the rest just happened.
Yep. So it was like a club in the, close to the village.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you weren't really playing organized soccer until that time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you made that jump, like, what are some differences that you saw, in terms of how the game is played, and what is expected of you now that you're jumping into an organized way of soccer?
So I would say the most interesting thing probably about Ghanaian or, cultural soccer is like the organized soccer is almost like, the street soccer the same. It's almost the same.
Okay.
So
Yep.
I think the transition wasn't that bad just because, they love, a stylish player, they want a technical guy. So the transition wasn't crazy. I think the biggest part for me was getting used to the fact that there were just as many good players as me on the
Okay.
team.
Yep.
So I think that was probably the most challenging part, and kind of, making my way, knowing I wasn't always the best player on that team. And then playing with kids that were equally devoted and just as passionate as me about playing soccer. And it was unbelievable, man. And like I said, the transition wasn't that bad just because the style of football I played on the streets was also the style of football that my coach at the club wanted to play.
Yep.
But then, having those kids was a bit of a challenge. And
Absolutely.
then ultimately it really helped me develop.
So it wasn't, much of a hassle adapting to the playing styles, right? To that
Right.
time. So how long did you spend at that club?
So I spent about 3 to 4 years up until I was 11.
Okay.
And then I got scouted, obviously by Right Stream. And I know you've had a few guys.
Yeah.
So then I was scouted when I was about 11. I joined Right Stream, I think, in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And then from then I played for Right Stream, and
Right.
then the rest, yeah.
So we know that, okay, before we dive any further, can you explain what Right to Dream is for people who are listening that may not know what it is? Like, what is Right to Dream?
Yeah, well, for me, most often when I'm asked, I just say it's home. Yes, because it gave me everything that I'd ever dreamt of. Like so. I think the word that I always describe Right Stream with is home.
Okay.
But for people listening, I think it's just like an academy in a sense. But it's more than that. It's more like a family. And the base of it is just to help kids, academically, but also athletically. So on the basis, you have to be pretty good at soccer to be recruited to the academy. And then along the way, they build your character, and then they take school very serious also. But yeah, on my scouting trip, what happened was there were 2 guys, Joe and Jeremy, who were amazing people because, they changed my life. They just showed up to my community, and then a bunch of kids, you show up, play with your local team, and then they select 2 to 3 kids, and then they take you to the academy. So that's what happened. I remember, I think it was a Saturday and maybe a Friday, but I remember I was supposed to be at school, and I had skipped school, went in, and then it worked out perfectly. They came to my house, talked to my parents, and they were like, "We've got your kid. He's amazing. We want to help him pursue this."
Absolutely.
And then, it was really hard for my parents, but I wasn't gonna get any better life living in my community than I was gonna get at Right Stream. So they were like, "Go on." And then after about 3 days, I think, I was on my way to Right Stream, and then at 11 I had left home, and I was there hunting, for the dream.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how young were you? Like, when did you first find out about what Right to Dream was before you even had the chance to try out? Did you know of them before that tryout?
Yeah, so right when I started playing organized soccer, there was a kid from my local team that had gone to Right Stream previously, and his name is Bassett.
Okay.
He's actually going to Wake Forest now, so
wow,
it's
shout
kind of
out.
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
your homie, yeah.
That's my boy, and
Yes,
he lived
sir.
in my community, same background, Muslim
Wow.
kid. Yeah,
Okay.
so he had like exactly the same background. He's like 2 years older than me, but
Yep.
anyway, so he had done it, and I had seen him come back on breaks from Right Stream, and I was like, wow, like this is actually the dream, because he came back, he had the Right Stream logo on his
Absolutely.
kids, like
Was he like talking to you about the
yeah,
different
like and
experiences?
he was just growing, like you can tell football wise,
Yep,
he was just
yep.
technically crazy. He was
Yep.
just getting better and better. So that was their dream. Like for all of us, we knew we wanted to get in.
Yep.
And right then there was another academy called Feyenoord, in Ghana.
Okay.
So it was kind of those two stuff, and everyone wanted to get into one of those.
Yep.
So I got lucky, and then I got selected to Right Dream, and for me it was a dream. I was always gonna go.
Yep.
And then I begged my parents, and obviously the scouts talked to them, and they agreed to let me go.
Yep. So the day that you heard, Right to Dreams come into your community, so was it like a tournament or like just a game? Like
So
they came to watch.
Okay, so you play a few like small-sided games.
Okay.
So probably everyone gets, I don't know, you probably get in total like 45 minutes. So you play like 15 minutes by 3. So it's really short games, small-sided, and then they're scouts for a reason. So they know what they know and they see what they see. So it happened really quick, and then I would say probably total football of 45 minutes, and
wow.
I got lucky, and obviously they saw what they saw in me, and
So it's not like, so it was more like a camp instead of just like you playing with your club and then they happen to see you.
Right.
So it's more like a camp thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So everyone comes together.
Yep.
And then you play a few games, and then they mix you with other guys to see how you adapt.
Yep.
Playing with other teams and stuff, and then it's a long day. It's a really long day. You only play for 45 minutes, but it takes forever, and then obviously they can only take a limited number of people, and I think in my squad they took 2 people.
2 out of how many?
Yeah, I don't know, to put a number, probably 500 or something. But
2 out of 500,
a lot of
man.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you were very, very nervous, right? When you heard about, Roger James come in, and you're skipping class to go, skipping school to go to that camp.
Right. Like I said, you need a lot of things have to go your way to be selected, because what are the odds? And
exactly, man. 500, 2 out of 500 is crazy.
Yeah, I'm guessing probably around 500.
Around there,
I don't know the exact number, but around, I would say.
So when you finally, you talked to your parents and the parents finally agreed to you going, when you got there, you said that Right to Dream like helped you out in all aspects of your life. Talk to me about that. Like when you first got to Right to Dream, like what did you see? Like what was your expectations going in there? First question. What was your expectations going in there?
I think my first what I thought I was going into was just football.
Okay.
I was like, I thought I was just going to go, and then we would train like 3 times a day, and then whatever school would be, whatever.
Yep.
So that was my first expectation going in, and I was blown away by the fact that it wasn't just that. It was like more than that. And I think for my parents, it gave them a level of comfort, because I was only 10.
Yep.
And for them, they were a bit worried about my school, my education.
Yep.
And even my character building, because that's a critical stage to let your kid go. So they were very worried about that. And once I had left and they had seen that I was growing character-wise, and then my school wasn't taking a hit, it gave them a level of comfort. And
How did Right to Dream, develop your character in a positive way? Like how did they go about doing that for you and for all of the other athletes that went?
Yeah, so we had a set of 7 character traits, and I think I still remember them. It was like passion, initiative, giving back, winning, integrity, self-discipline, and then social intelligence.
Wow.
Is that 7?
Yep, that's 7.
Wow,
That's 7.
it's funny how I still remember them.
Absolutely.
But so we had those, and that was printed around the whole academy. So every corner you walked in, you would see those traits, and we were supposed to live by those as our foundation of our moral principles. So all that, and then we had character classes. So like we would do like, I think 2 times like 2 hours of character sessions every week, and it was all like about character building.
Absolutely.
And we had specific stuff like I think on weekends we would meet together, and then we talk about certain character traits. So it was good. It was like I said, it was the basic foundation of the academy was building character, and I didn't expect that going in.
Absolutely.
I had thought it was going to be a lot more football based than it was.
Yep. So did they explain, like the reason behind those 7 character traits that they chose?
To be honest, I don't know. I'd always wondered why those specific ones, but yeah, I don't know. I just I had no
Just seemed,
idea.
yep, yep.
But when a kid is that age,
Yeah,
you're able to
exactly.
ingrain it in
Yep.
them. So.
And it seems to be working,
Yep,
man.
I mean,
Seems to be
look, well,
working.
yeah, I didn't turn out that bad, so
Yep.
I guess it worked a bit, yeah.
So apart from the character development for the players, like what was another way the academy contributed to your life apart from soccer? So character wise, what's another one?
I would say it's school-wise because,
academically.
like I said, yeah, when I was really young, I was decent at school, but I had never really taken it serious. Like I did well, but then once I had got into the academy, I was like, and people they were like, you have something in this, like
Okay.
don't just give it away and focus on football. So
Yep.
I started taking my school really serious and almost just as equal as soccer for me, to be
Okay.
honest. So.
Yep.
And I'd seen people come to high schools in America and then being able to play college and then sign pro. And that was it. It clicked for me, and I was like, this is what I was destined for. Like,
Yep,
this is my
absolutely.
pathway. I want to go to high school in America. I want to go to college, and then
Play
I want
both
to be able
soccer
to
and-
play professionally.
Yep.
It would be the best of both worlds.
Yep. Exactly.
So I saw that, and I would say that's the biggest impact the academy probably had on me, was being able to help me with school and realizing
Absolutely.
my potential
Yep.
in school as well. So it was good. And once I had realized that, I knew I was committed to living this life of going to high school, playing college, and then playing professionally.
Absolutely. So how hard was it balancing both, your academics and soccer? Because, it's still academy at the end of the day, right? It's brutal trainings. You gotta have to train probably
Right.
every day. Like how did the training go? Like what was the schedule? What was the routine?
So we trained every morning. We woke up at like 5:30
Okay.
to start off. So that was really good discipline. It was amazing. I as much as I hated waking up at that time, I really missed those days. It was like unbelievable. The bell goes. We had a bell, so ring the bell. Everyone wakes up, and
Okay.
then we had a prayer session. We would pray,
Oh,
and then
okay.
together. So that
Yep.
was nice. And then we would train at like 6:30. And we would train probably like 2.5 hours,
Yep.
and then we would have school from like 10 to 2 p.m. probably, and then
Yep.
we would have our personal sessions, like individual sessions.
Oh.
In the evening. So everyone, if you guys, you could get together, work on whatever you're passing, shooting, blah blah blah, by yourself, and then the older guys would do gym, and then personal training.
Okay.
So we would have the afternoon also to just work on ourselves.
Yep.
And then at night we would have more school, like homework, blah blah blah, and then we would sleep at 9.
Wow.
So that was our
it's,
day.
it's a pretty packed day.
Yeah,
man.
it's
Pretty packed
very
days.
very packed.
You
and
know?
Yeah.
How
so-
many of you guys lived in like was it like a dorm type?
Yeah.
Like how was
Nah,
that?
we had the dorms and we had the bunk beds. So
Okay. Yep.
Nah, it was sick. It was fun.
Yeah.
We would have a decent number of people in the room, and
Exactly, man.
we would have our own roles. Someone was cleaning the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
And then others were like whatever, like sweeping the room.
Yep.
So it was
Yep.
good. It was good. It gets you together.
Exactly. You would think like, you're going to academy, they may lack some, teaching the kids over there, like how to wash their clothes and how to clean. But it seems like when in the academy, like they instilled in you guys those routines early.
Yes, for sure. And it was very intentional because they knew African homes. Like, if my mom sends me to you to take care of me, she would want you to teach me the African values.
Yep.
So
Yep, absolutely.
yeah, I think on the balance of things, they were amazing at knowing what parents would want their kids to look like, and they were able to enforce those values. So you never lost it. It was just
Absolutely.
like
Yep.
it was almost like you were living at home, in a way. So yeah.
Could you expand on like what the typical African values were for especially the way that
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I said, you would clean your own stuff. Like, if you ate, you would clean your own plates. You would help with the chores at home. So stuff like that. And then, obviously, like on the base of it was like respectful, cleaning after yourself,
manners,
togetherness,
Yep.
praying,
Absolutely.
and religion. So yeah, it was good. I would say I never really lost that much of my values from
Yep.
living at the academy.
Yep.
If
Absolutely.
anything, it got better.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, I'm even seeing or connecting, some similar things that we did in St. Lucia. So I went to so I left the U.S. after second grade.
Okay.
So I spent, from that time, early in my life to that time, in the U.S. system. But then when I went to St. Lucia, it was like a private school, like a religious,
Okay.
like a very religious heavy,
Okay.
at a like primary school.
Right.
And we would have to, after we eat during lunchtime, we have to clean our own plates and then bring it
Right.
to the kitchen. So
Right.
that's like another thing that I see that's connecting between how.
100%.
So now, how hard was it to balance both your academics and soccer back then at Right to Dream?
I would say it was hard on the sense that, so a lot of my friends, like, they knew they were gonna sign pro. So I think the mental battle was the hardest part, knowing you were decent enough to potentially pursue playing pro. And your friends, they were like, I know myself, I'm gonna go sign pro. And you were like, oh, like, but I'm here like grinding, like school, like.
Exactly. Trying to
And
get
yeah,
both of them.
almost in a sense, I don't know, sometimes you lose a bit of your value in school because you're like, why can't I just go and sign
Exactly.
professionally?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think that was the hardest part. But for me, once, like I said, I'm a guy that is very committed to stuff. Once I say I'm gonna do it, that's it. I'm gonna go do it. So the mental battle of focusing on school was a bit hard for me, but once I said this was my plan,
Yep.
I was gonna follow through regardless.
Absolutely.
So
Yep. I feel like
yeah.
a lot of players, battle with that similar thing too, where it's like, especially at Right to Dream, where you're seeing a lot of players signing
Right.
pro contracts. Like, man, I'm gonna sign pro. Like, why do I even need to
Yeah,
pay attention
exactly.
in math class or whatever
Yeah.
class?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, how was it? Training among players that are at your level, some even higher level than you, right? How's the competitive environment there? How's that like?
So yeah, to add on that, there were a lot that were better than me. So it wasn't just some, but it was good. It helped me a lot because I went in. I was a very timid guy. Like I was like in my corner, shy.
Yep.
And my first few days, all I would do at night was cry. I would
Okay.
just go to my bed and then I'll cry.
Yep.
Because the coaches, they were yelling at me, and they
Okay.
were I wasn't used to playing in that type of competitive
environment,
environment. I was just like, I was good when I
Yep.
was young
Yep.
back home, but I wasn't like, I didn't have that extra competitiveness in me. I was just
Yep.
like timid, like
Exactly. That
someone,
aggressive
yeah,
nature,
exactly. If someone was aggressive on me,
Yeah.
I would even want to apologize to them for this. So that was the
Yeah.
type of guy that I was until I went to the academy.
Okay.
And then, yeah, with weeks I was improving like this.
Absolutely,
Like it was
absolutely.
ridiculous.
Yep.
I got in very competitive, and I've gotten to the point where I was giving it to people. I was competing crazy hard. So it helped me develop. If anything, it was so beneficial for me
Exactly.
to be in that kind of environment where people were better than me and were more aggressive than me. So I had to match up the level. I
Absolutely.
always had a decent bit of talent, but to get that extra level
You needed
of
that.
competitive edge, I needed that 100%.
Yep.
And I think that environment for sure gave me that.
How long, if you could recollect it, how long did it take you to start breaking out of your shell and trying to match that competitive nature and that aggressive nature?
It took a bit.
Yeah.
It took about 3 months.
Okay.
But also within that 3 months, I was like I said, I was improving. And I think they saw that in me because I went in and I was this kid, and then I was opening up. So it took, I would say, after after 3 months I went home for holidays, and I think before I went I had seen myself move from here to there.
Okay,
So
wow.
but after those 3 months I came back and I was a completely different person. I was acclimated to the competitive environment, and I got it going. And
Absolutely, man.
even though I wasn't the best player by
Yep.
any sense of imagination, I was
Yep.
I was there. I was
Yep,
there.
absolutely.
If you mention decent players, I was always a part, and I made sure I competed.
How far did you live before you went to the academy? So how far was like the location from the academy to where you lived? You know,
Probably 8 hour drive,
8 hour
9 hours.
drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. No, it
it's
was
part of
far
distance.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would obviously take the buses, and
Yeah?
then it's a long one. It's a
Wow.
long one. You go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, from we used to we would leave like I don't know like 1 p.m. and then we wouldn't get there until like 10. So it was a journey.
Yeah.
So
It's a journey.
hey, it
But
helped
you
me
gotta
though.
do
My
what you gotta
parents
do,
never
man.
visited
Yep,
me
absolutely.
because
Wow.
they're not gonna sit in the bus for
Yeah,
10 hours
yeah,
to come
yeah.
to me.
Yep.
So I never saw them until
Until you went to go see.
I went
for
home.
vacation.
So
Yeah. So after
yeah,
those 3 months, right? The first 3 months, and then you went on vacation,
right.
to see your family.
Hmm.
How was it like going back? You know, after being away for 3 months in a completely different environment.
Right.
You went back. You're seeing your friends again.
Mhm.
You're seeing your parents. Your aunts, whoever else.
Mhm.
How was it like?
Nah, it was
How did
nice. It
feel,
was really nice because a lot of my buddies back home, they also played football, so they knew about the academy. It was prestigious. It was like
It's a dream, man.
yeah,
Every kid wants to go
exactly.
to that
Like
academy.
everyone wanted to go, so it was like, wow, this is one of us who's making it. So
Yep,
it was good, and all my boys because my mom was a really good cook. So everyone was at my house
Yep.
even before I'd left. So when I came back, it was even more. It was like everyone was like just coming to my place.
Yep.
We were like whatever, like
Wow.
just having food that my mom would cook, and
Yep.
then we would just chat, whatever, like play.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was fun to be in that position where it was like I had something going on for me
Yep.
in life. So it was good.
I have gotten to become friends with a lot of Africans
Right.
throughout my time in college.
Right.
I didn't really have much African friends before that.
Right.
And then now I'm starting to understand the cultural dynamic, or just the way things are in well, I know Nigeria, and I'm pretty sure Ghana is very, very similar, where like you have like different tribes,
Mhm.
like, and it's like different
Yeah.
communities.
Right.
So did you start, like, was it after you came back and having all of the people in your communities coming to visit you, did you start to feel like you're representing your village, representing your community at that time?
Well, when I was younger, no,
No.
because I just,
Yeah.
I was just a kid.
Absolutely.
I had no idea
Yep,
of
yep.
what it meant.
Mhm.
But as I grew older, then 100%.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I'd seen it was hard where I grew up from to like be able to get out of that community and be able to make something out of life was really hard. So
Absolutely.
after I had made it, I'd seen that people wanted to be like me. Even to this day, there's a lot of kids that are inspired by my story and want to be like me
Yep.
or follow the pathway that I
Yep.
followed. So
Yep.
when I was younger, I didn't realize how much of an impact I
Yeah.
had.
Yep.
But even to my age mates, like my friends, but as I grew older, I
and you
realized,
try to understand the world a little bit more, and then
100%.
okay. So we'll talk about that more later in your story.
Mm-hmm.
So when you went back after those 3 months, right? So what age group were you playing in? You 13, 14, 15? How did that work?
So when I first went to Rice Dream, I was playing for the under 11s.
Okay.
So it was like we had a coach called Coach Ado, funniest guy ever. He's unbelievable though.
Yeah.
He's great. And all we would work on like technical stuff, like like Cruyff turns, and
Oh,
it
okay.
used to be one of the most annoying stuff because kids, like
Yep.
you just want to play.
Yeah, just want to
wanna
play.
just,
Do all these
like
little
let's play like 6v6. But we would do like a shit ton of just technical drills, like
Yeah.
Cruyff turns, like whatever, like leg overs, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But it was so helpful. Like right now, as part of my game, I do the same stuff and I don't think about it. It's like it just comes. So it's so weird. It's so weird that they made us do it that much and we hated it that much, but it is having such a big impact now.
Absolutely.
So that's what I started playing under 11s. We would just do a lot of basic techniques, like just
Yep.
all that, and then on the weekend we would have a game. They'll bring in a team, and it would be like, I think we played 8v8. So so that's where I started, and then I built my way
Absolutely.
up from there. Yeah.
So you're basically saying that at that age, right? The academy is trying to teach you guys or make you guys learn the technical side of the game,
Yes,
because
yes.
as you get older, it's gonna become more important, and that's when you
100%.
okay, I see, I
Yeah.
see. At what age did you guys start playing 11v11s?
Under 13s.
Under
Then
13s?
we started playing 11v11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Were they like cutting off players like every age group you guys went up, starting from like you 11s or?
So they weren't cutting people. They
Okay.
weren't. It wasn't like, no, you go home. They
Yeah.
they never sent kids home like that. No.
Okay.
But obviously there's still like a meritocracy, so there is a promotion system,
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
if you're good enough, you play. The age above you or whatever.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
At every step, we did that. They'll promote a few people. A few people will stay behind.
Mm-hmm.
I actually stayed behind like once. I remember when I just got into the academy.
Okay.
A lot of people were promoted to the under 13s, and I wasn't promoted until 3 months after. So
Okay.
there was that system, but it wasn't like we cut you and you go home. You still have a chance to develop.
Yep. Until
yeah.
you get to the age.
Yeah, where
Okay,
they
I
have
see.
to make a decision.
Yeah, I
where
see. I see.
is he going to high school?
Yep. Yep.
Is he gonna sign pro
Absolutely.
or whatever? And then for the most part, all my friends, they're doing their stuff. The academy helped them, achieve whatever
Yep.
their ambitions were. But obviously, not everyone.
Yeah, not everyone did
didn't
it.
make it.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
there are still a few people that didn't, make it out to say. But no one was caught.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Everyone had an opportunity.
Absolutely. So when you started playing, you went up to the U13s and started
Right.
playing 11v11. What are some things that you started learning? Starting to play that 11v11, and like, was it a little different compared to the 8v8s and the other things they were trying to teach you guys at that age?
Well, first of all, offsides, because I had never played with offsides. So
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
that transition was that was probably the biggest part. And then other sides of the game, like just it was more of a collective team goal now. Like we were building up, we were trying to press. So
Yep. Yep.
you start learning stuff that apply to the higher end of the game. Like. So we were trying to get a bit more matured
Absolutely.
in our game, positioning,
Yep.
rotation in the midfields, like stuff like that. We started learning a bit more of the tactical aspect of the game. So that's when it started to happen.
Were you guys playing like domestically only at that age, like only against clubs in Ghana, or were you guys also playing like traveling already at that age? Like,
So so under 13 we started traveling.
Okay.
So under 13, 15, then we started traveling,
Yep.
and we would go to Europe once or twice every year, play in tournaments. We would go for camps, just play games and then come back. So that's
okay.
also when we started traveling.
Yep. Yep. So when at what age did you guys start traveling like outside of the country? Like,
Yeah. Right.
when does that
So
happen?
I think when I was 13,
Okay.
I went to Germany and Denmark for we played a tournament in Germany. It was like a small-sided tournament. It was bizarre. That was my first time traveling out of the country, and
Yep.
it must have been when I was like 12 or 13.
How was that experience? Like getting
It was
traveling outside of the country for the first time.
It was interesting because I remember the whole time I was looking forward to seeing snow, obviously because it was Denmark and it was during the winter. So I'm like, oh, it's sunny every day in
Yep,
Ghana.
yep.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
And then I remember the first training session, I'm like almost crying because it's too cold. Like
Yeah.
it's unbearable. I just
Exactly.
could not play.
Did you guys even have clothes that match those weather at that weather at that time?
Yeah, well, so they gave us like big jackets and stuff
Yep.
to wear for like
Okay.
whatever, for
Yeah.
walking around and stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously training, there is just only as much that you can wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were wearing whatever, like the leggings, gloves, but
It could only do so
we
much.
didn't know hand warmers, all those stuff. And yeah, I just remember I was crying because it was too cold. Like
Yep.
your legs are frozen, and every time you touch the boy, it's just like, it's not good.
Yeah, it's hard to move, right? You're not as mobile as you. So did you see that affect your game a little bit?
No, 100%. I mean, because the whole time I was thinking about when I'm gonna get off the field instead of when,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's how it started. But
Yep.
Yeah.
What position were you playing at that time?
So when it's funny because I always tell people, but when I was young at the academy, I played like defensive mid,
Okay.
and well, obviously now I play the opposite of that. Like I do not play at all like a defensive mid.
Yep.
But
You're not. You're an attacking player.
yeah,
you
like I
know?
started there though. Yeah, so it's weird, but
Yep.
yeah, I played at 6 when I was young. And then yeah, I moved a bit more offensive.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
now I'm very much offensive. Yeah.
Are there any other like trips you guys took out of the country, or any other like clubs that you guys played against that really stuck out to you? Whether it be like those top name academies
Oh,
that.
it must have been the year before I left the academy. So probably like 2017, we went to Holland, and we played in a tournament called Marvel Tournament, and we won. And we played Ajax,
Oh.
Anderlecht,
Yep.
and PSV, Real Madrid.
okay.
Yeah, so we played like top academies, and
Yep. And you guys won that.
we won the tournament. So yeah, that was
So that speaks to the level you guys are at.
no, we
man.
were good.
Okay.
We had some talents on that team. No, we were good.
Yep.
We were really good. But that was an unbelievable experience for me. And especially knowing then that I could compete at that level
Exactly.
was amazing also. So
I'm guessing that
Yeah.
really helped your confidence and
For
everyone's
sure,
confidence
100%,
coming back from
yeah.
that, right?
yeah, that was the biggest one. Like, it was the Marvel tournament in
Yep.
Holland. But
Yep.
yeah, we played a lot of tournaments all around,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all really fun. But
Yep.
that was the biggest one because we played really all the big teams in Europe. So it was fun.
So coming from just growing up in Ghana and then now being exposed to all different types of cultures, how was that a part of your development and your appreciation for different cultures and yours? Like did that like play a factor in the way you viewed the world?
I would say I started paying a lot more attention to the Western culture, I would say, because obviously Ghana is Ghana. And then you travel out of the world and, out of Ghana, and then Europe is completely different.
Absolutely.
It's like, we also had a team, FC Nordsjælland
Yep.
in Denmark,
Yep.
that Right Dream had a connection with, and we had to play with those kids. So you kind of see, how they were socialized, like how they were brought up a bit, and compared to us, it was a completely different style.
Yep.
And you start to appreciate some of the values that you have a lot more.
Absolutely, yep.
Because in many ways, I'd rather be that African traditional kid, have those values that I had,
Yep.
than, be too exposed to the Western culture. But it was good because then we started building relationships with those kids.
Absolutely.
And yeah, some of them are still our friends now. And it's good to know how far we came, and everyone's journey to being where they are now.
Absolutely. So it's like you're seeing the value of holding your own culture,
100%.
but at the same time you're seeing things and like you're seeing the opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. So in Right to Dream, what's the goal of a player? So it's either to make it pro, go to high school abroad, or go to college.
100%. Yeah. So yes. So those are basically the pathways, like you just mentioned. Yeah. So
Okay. So it's those three.
It's those three. Yeah.
Which ones was like the ideal for you? Like which one were you trying to fight for?
Yeah, I think for me it was once I figured out that I wanted to go to high school.
Yeah.
It was always that.
Okay.
And yeah, because at the back of my mind, I was like, I'm gonna play pro. I know myself, like I'm gonna
Yep.
be able to make it
Yep.
someday.
Yep.
But I couldn't pass out the opportunity of being able to go to school.
Absolutely. Wow.
And before I came to the US, I knew of a kid called Usaini Buddha who
Okay.
he plays actually for San Jose now, the
Oh, okay.
Earthquakes. So
Yep,
he's
yep.
in the MLS also. But he had gone to the same high school that I went to, and he was committed to Stanford.
Okay. Wow.
And yeah, I
Wow.
didn't know what colleges meant, but
Yeah.
I was like,
I want to do it.
I want to do the same exact thing that he's just
Interesting.
done. So
Yep. Yep.
I went to the same high school, played with him for one season, and
Yep.
then after that, obviously, I committed to Duke. And,
Okay. After one season.
No, balls. I didn't commit to Duke up until after my sophomore year.
Oh, but you
So
played with him one season
one
before he
season,
left.
yes,
Oh,
before
okay.
he left. And
I
then-
see. I see. How did that process go? Like, how did the school even get to know about you? Like, how did that work? Coming up to the U.S. and
So like I said, I had a plan, but I didn't know what.
the specifics.
Like,
right?
yeah, I didn't know what college in the U.S. meant. I was just like, I'm gonna go do it. Like,
Yep.
but I didn't know what the system was.
Exactly. You
So
gotta figure it out.
exactly. So I came to high school, and then after my freshman year of high school, my host parents signed me up to a soccer ID camp at Duke, and then I went in, and then whatever the coaches
Absolutely.
run a few drills, the kids
Yep.
play, blah blah blah,
Yep.
and yeah, right
And
after that,
that's
yes,
where they saw you right there.
yeah,
They
that
wanted-
so right after that, it was yes, I knew I was gonna
Really?
go to Duke regardless of what happened in
Wow.
the future. So
Okay. I'm guessing Right to Dream helps you guys,
Mm-hmm.
go to different high schools. So it's like they send out, highlight tapes or whatever,
right,
and the different schools.
100%,
Okay.
yeah. So, and then yeah, my boarding school.
Oh, so
Millbrook.
boarding school. So
Yeah,
it's like
so
a
I went to a boarding school.
boarding
Yeah,
school, yeah.
so yeah, amazing time, man. It was unbelievable.
Talk
but-
to me about, like, how did it feel, leaving? So, at the time you lived in Ghana, but you traveled other places.
Right.
But now you're leaving Ghana to live in a whole new country.
Exactly.
How was like getting used to the way Americans live and, just the American lifestyle, right? And the
Yeah.
schooling system and everything that came with it.
Yeah, I always say it was a bit too nice for me because I remember the first time I had gone to the school that I went to, I was like, is this heaven? Like, was this the heaven we were promised? Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I look around and I saw like a big
Yep.
soccer turf. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, I can spend all day
All
here.
day, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
are you joking?
Yep. Yep.
Then the gym, the classes, the facilities, like it was a bit too nice for me, especially at the beginning. I was like, wow, like
Exactly.
this is just a different world. And, yeah, I think right then there is two types of people. You could be like very relaxed and comfortable in that situation, or you could be like, this is an amazing opportunity and I'm
Exactly.
going to make the most of it. And for
Absolutely.
me, I was the latter. I was like, I'm going to squeeze everything out of this opportunity and make the best of it. Yeah, so.
Okay, and it's not like a typical high school here. It's like you live in the compound or whatever, and then you guys have like, what was the routine now? Was it similar to Ghana, to Right to Dream? Like what were you guys doing on a day to day, if you could remember?
Yeah, so we woke up, breakfast, then classes until the afternoon, and then
Okay.
after classes we had training.
Okay, yep.
And then after training, nothing really. You just
Okay,
chilled
so
until-
yeah. So
it's a-
they even Right to Dream even prepared you guys for that too. So
Nah,
like you came, it wasn't
100%,
that
yeah.
much. Okay.
Yeah, so
Did you start to develop like a favoritism in the subjects you were interested in, or at the time, or you just going with the flow, just making sure you get your assignments done, making sure you're training?
yeah, I think nothing really
Yeah,
was
not yet.
crazy stood out to me.
Yeah.
I before I came to the US, I loved like programming robots and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah. So I did a bit of robotics.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah,
heavy right there, man.
Nah, I know, bro. Call me a nerd, huh? Nah, I did. So I loved working with robots,
Yeah.
like programming. I remember, yeah, we used to do a lot of that, and there was a guy at the academy who was unbelievable. Like he helped us,
Okay.
study all that. So I loved that. But then once I got to the boarding school, I just absorbed everything. I didn't really specialize in
Absolutely.
one area or the other. I was like,
Yep.
I'll show up to class every time. I would turn in my assignments and I'll
Yep.
get good grades.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then I'll
Absolutely,
leave. Yeah,
man.
so it was good.
So is it fair to say it was pretty easy adapting to everything,
It wasn't, at least the academic part wasn't that bad. I would say the social aspect was different.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, like the school I went to, I would say very few kids would go to. And obviously I wasn't paying for it. I was there on scholarship,
Yeah.
but like a lot of rich kids, obviously. So
Very different than
yeah,
everyone
they
used to,
exactly. So I grew up obviously in a certain way, and then all of a sudden I was put in an environment where it was the opposite of
Yep.
what I was raised up to be. So it was hard to be able to adjust to that. But having said that, my time there was unbelievable. It was like once, I adapted, I just loved the place,
Yep,
and
absolutely.
the place loved me back. So it was amazing.
How was your what do they call it? Your host
My
family?
host parents.
Yeah, host
Yeah, my
parents.
host
How was your
family.
host parents, man?
Oh man, unbelievable people. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like couldn't have asked for anything more
Wow.
in my life. They're probably one of the biggest blessings in my life.
Wow.
And we
How?
so
Like, talk to me about that. How
they
did
just
they
like
loving and
yeah, everything that my parents would have wanted for me in life, they were there to do the same for me. So they came to all my games. They would pick me up on weekends. From school, I'll go back home. My host mom, she's like, "There, you text her," and she's like, "Yep, I'm on it." Like so, it was nice. It
Yep.
was nice. Obviously, I was like I said, I grew up a certain way, and then I came to the US, and then to have that system of support and people being there for you
absolutely
to guide you throughout the way was
Yep.
unbelievable.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have been able to do that without them. And my advisor's family,
Okay.
they were unbelievable to me too in high school. They were always there,
Wow.
equally supportive.
Yep.
Like my laundry, all
Yep.
all
Yep.
the
Yeah.
just all the little stuff that
Yep.
you would want support with. They were also there.
Very
So,
supportive.
I would say obviously I worked a bit hard to achieve all the stuff that I have, but the people around me,
Made it easier.
very easy. And in many ways, I
Yep.
owe a lot to those people.
Could you say they also believed in you?
Yeah.
Like okay, so you said they believe in you.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice when people don't care about your performance in soccer, because all my life is about football. Like he's good at football, but to find people who will love you
Just-
no
just
matter
because of
what,
who
yeah,
you
they
are,
just
right?
like we want to be in your life. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was it? Like playing against other schools. Was
high
it? Was
school?
it? Yeah. Was it a
Oh,
bit
my
different than?
God.
Talk to me about that,
Nah,
man. How was that? How was that?
That was a nightmare. Like it's
Talk to me.
I loved the experience, but wow. So I had gone from right stream, obviously, where we had the best players. Everyone was ridiculous. Everyone was unbelievable. And then
Absolutely.
I went to Millbrook, and it was like, a different world. Like so me and the kid that went to Stanford that I was talking about,
Yep.
Husseini, we
Yep.
had to win every game. Like, well, that's a lie. We had a team support. Like there were
Okay.
people, but
Yeah.
we had to do a lot more than we had ever done.
Yep.
So
Yep.
like that was my first time like actually tasting what pressure felt like, because every game I was like, we need to deliver here.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
actually need to. And to be fair, I'm not downplaying my teammates'
Yeah.
support. They were unbelievable people.
But when you make the comparison,
like exactly. So we the level of soccer in general was not too great.
Exactly. So it's a drop than what you're used to.
Exactly, 100%. And we had to take the ownership of developing ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because if you play down to that level, then you only go
okay.
one way. You get too comfortable and you
valid
don't develop, and everyone else that's your competition around the world is
Yep.
going. So
Absolutely.
we made the most of it. We took ownership of the situation. We helped our teammates, and we gained their support. They helped us. But yeah, we had to do a lot, and then I think in many ways that helped me kind of now, because when the game is tough, I'm like, what can I do?
Yep.
Where's the next goal?
Yep.
When can I score the next goal to help the team? So yeah, it was a bit of a dip down in level, but.
But it helped you
Having
overall
said
and
that,
build up yourself.
I worked harder than I had ever worked,
Yep.
because I was like, I need to develop regardless.
Exactly.
So,
Because if you look at it, you were in Right to Dream.
Right.
Everyone was it's OP. It's like you didn't have to do more than your job.
Exactly.
Right. But then now you're
100%.
coming up. You have to. People are relying on you a bit more, because you're a bit more developed, a
Yeah.
little more skillful, a little more.
Exactly.
You could contribute more
Right.
than you were than the other players.
Uh-huh.
So okay. So you came in as a freshman.
Yeah, I came in as a freshman, then I did freshman, sophomore, senior. So I skipped my junior year, but our first year we won the championship actually.
Okay.
That's why I was saying
good.
I shouldn't downplay
You got one.
my teammates' abilities. They were actually we had a solid team, especially
Okay.
my first year.
Yep,
So we
yep.
we won the championship for our class.
Got the job done.
We did get the job done.
And you were playing at CDM?
I was playing. Well, I was playing attacking mid, but this is what happened. So
talk to me about that.
The goalie gets the ball.
Yeah.
I go all the way to the goalie. He rolls it down to me, and then I would do maybe 1-2 dribbles.
Yep.
Then I'll hit it to Hussein. He was playing up top,
Yep.
and then he would score a goal. So half of our goals was that way, and it worked. It
worked, man. You guys found a way to make it work.
It was fun, and yeah, me and him had a special connection, and yeah, we just scored many goals that way.
Wow,
so
man.
It was good. It was fun times.
So sophomore year, did you guys win sophomore year? Or what happened sophomore year?
Nah, so sophomore year, obviously he had left.
Oh, okay.
So it was just
so
me.
You lost your finisher, man. What
happened? What happened? We still had a decent year. I don't think we did anything special compared to what we had done.
Yep,
the year before. But that was it. I played only 2 seasons there. So I didn't do no junior year because I wanted. So my coach at Duke wanted me to come in a year early. So I had to skip my junior year, but that meant I had to do a lot of work over the summer. So I basically took extra classes over the summer. And then I did all the requirements. And then I skipped my junior year, and then I went right away to my senior year. Yeah, and then COVID, so I didn't really have a senior season.
Wow.
In high school, and then I was off to Duke.
That's crazy. Okay.
I know.
So everyone could follow along with us. So you didn't leave your junior year to go to you didn't leave your junior year, but you just did a lot more schooling.
Yes, I did school over the summer.
And then you left to Duke junior year, or? So
I did freshman, sophomore, went on vacation, and then I came back as senior. So I never did my junior year.
So you just did 3 years.
Yes, exactly.
And then the year you were supposed to do your senior year,
exactly,
you went to Duke.
Exactly.
And when did you go to the ID camp? Sophomore year you went to
freshman year.
Freshman year you went to the ID camp.
Yeah.
Freshman year they saw you. Freshman year they already wanted you, and they
I wouldn't say they wanted me then, but I had known I was gonna go to Duke then.
Okay, why?
I don't know. I went in. I felt in love with the place.
Okay. How's it like? What was it like? At Duke. What did you see?
So I go and the facilities are even more ridiculous now because
it's Duke.
It's
man,
like my God. It was I was like, I want to be here. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be there. And I mean, in a way, it was mutual. I know. After that the coaches would want me. I was they were gonna for sure want me to be there after the ID camp. So but nothing crazy after my sophomore year when they could talk to me right away.
So they can't talk to you your freshman year?
No, they're not allowed to based on NCAA rules. So
it's good information.
Even if they wanted to, they had to be like
that's what
you couldn't. They had to find a way of But right when they could talk to me, they reached out and they were like, "We want to bring you in a year early." So I was
interesting,
like,
man.
"Sign me up."
Yeah.
And, I was there.
So you said you went to vacation back home?
Yeah.
So after 2 years.
Yeah. No, I went on vacation after I went to Duke.
Oh, you went on vacation
that was like
after you went to
three and a half years of high school.
Yeah.
No, 3 years of high school, 1 year of college. Then I went home. Right? Yes, that's what happened. Exactly what happened. Yeah.
All right. So before we touch on going back home.
Right.
You go to Duke. A year early.
Right.
Man, like kids in the U.S., bro, they're working 4 years working their butt off to try and get accepted to Duke, man. And 3 years in, they want you early, a year early.
Right.
That's big. That's already in and of itself a big accomplishment, So that is just one of those hats you got to put in,
I guess
stuff on the back for that,
It wasn't too bad, yeah.
And going into Duke now, man, like.
Yeah.
Is there any preconceived notions of what to expect when you over there? Like any expectations you had, because you said, because now if we track back, you said going to Right to Dream, you expected 3 times a training a week and whatever. Did you have any expectations going into Duke?
Well, I had known it was in the ACC, and the ACC is probably the toughest conference for soccer. So I had known that going in, and I knew physical wise that I needed a bit more development. So I actually did my ankle, and I was out for like 5 months, so it was almost broken. Yeah, it was bad,
Ooh.
and I had to. So I showed up at Duke with 1.5 an ankle. So the other one was like, it was like I was just struggling.
It wasn't completely
Yeah, it
healed
wasn't
yet.
healing. So, and I knew I needed to develop a bit more physically. So I spent the summer just like crazy. Like I was lifting, just trying to, yes, in a way adapt even
Yep.
before I went in.
Yep. So you couldn't really do much, because your ankle was
Yeah,
hurt, but you tried
exactly.
to develop
Yeah.
the other areas of
100%.
yourself.
So I did that, and then halfway through the summer, I went to Duke, and then my trainer at Duke started working with me with my ankle, and then so I did a bit of rehab before the season
Absolutely.
began, just to stay ahead, because I knew my coaches were going to count a bit on me when I went in. So that was my expectation. I was
Absolutely.
going in, and I was like, I don't care who's there, I'm going to go
Yep.
play.
Yep.
So
Especially with like ankle injuries too,
yeah,
man. Like that
so
that should never
nah,
miss, you know.
it's the most annoying one
Yeah.
ever, because
Any little thing could happen,
exactly,
and
you're
you're
like
back
you
where it
wake
started.
up and you're like, what is this? Like it's just so painful. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be ready, because I wanted to go in and not sit on the bench.
Yep.
And that was my motivation.
Yep.
I was like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna
Wow,
play.
man.
So
A year early, and
yeah.
you're already thinking about I have to start. That's okay.
yeah, so I went in, and then I did my rehab. And then the season started, and I was struggling.
Okay, talk to me about the
So,
first season. Like
yeah.
meeting the team and training and
Exactly. So, like I said, my expectation was that I was gonna go in and play. And I knew that was hard. And to a lot of people, it probably sounded like stupid, because they're like, "It's Duke, bro." And to be fair, even some of the closest people to me probably had the perception. They were like, "You're a really good, Shaq,
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah.
gonna be the biggest hurdle in your life." Yeah. So, but I don't care. I'm gonna go play.
Exactly.
And then so I showed up. And the first few weeks, it was brutal, because after preseason, I was still doing fine, but they were playing me out of position as a winger.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was too far away from the goal. I wasn't really in the action. I was like, so it wasn't. And then I had the ankle problem. So it was just like a lot of things coming together.
Yep.
And then right before our first game of the season, I got COVID. So I was out for I was out probably 2 weeks, and
Okay.
you know how college games
Yep.
work. They come every
Yep.
3-4 days. So I missed a couple at the beginning, and then I returned. I did all the return to play protocol for COVID,
Okay.
and then I came back. So I had to restart
Everything
and
all over again.
So that was the biggest bump.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was on the bench at the beginning. I remember when I came back, we played Michigan. I was on the bench, and then I don't know what happened. Like, we came back home, and I remember I was pissed at my coach. I was like, "Come on, bro! Like, come on, you're my guy. Like, what's happening?
Exactly.
Why am I on the bench? Blah blah blah." And then we played another game. It was out of conference game, and I was still on the bench. And I'm like, this is not going the way I wanted it to go.
Yep.
But for some reason during the week, literally, I think we were playing UNC the next game. And then the day before, so we came in from the locker room, and I think it was a Thursday, and we had a Friday game.
Okay.
And then we've walked on the field. I'm like a bit moody. I'm like, damn it, I'm not starting again. Because the whole week we'd been shaping, and you as a player, you always know if you're gonna play or not.
Yeah, you have an idea, a good idea.
Anyways, I was like, I'm not playing again. Come on, bro. I'm back now. Like, what's happening? And I don't know what happened, but he's like, you're starting tomorrow. So I'm like, wow, like.
Against UNC.
Yeah, against UNC. So
Okay.
I'm like, big call, like ACC game.
Yeah, UNC's
you know,
big,
like obviously the rivalry. Anyway, so we go, and then there was a guy. He was a senior. He's crazy funny guy, unbelievable guy. He's so nice, but basically I'm taking his position. So I'm like,
On the winger?
Nah, so, and then I'm playing as the number 10. That's the biggest
your position
part also.
right there.
Yeah, so I'm playing in my position. So I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is perfect. Like, this is all that I've wanted. Like, it's all happening. I don't know what happened, but my coach woke up and something happened. He might
Yep.
have dreamt, God sent the angels to him.
Exactly.
But something happened, and he's like, you're starting, and you're playing as the number 10. So I'm like, we would see. This is going to be good. It's going to be the catalyst of my college career. So we go in the game. I think the first 5 minutes I score a goal, and I'm like, yeah, this is
You're
it.
lying.
And I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
It's like, yeah,
First 5
God,
minutes.
yeah, God really works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Maybe like 10 or 15. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
around this. Early in the game. Very early in
game
the
starts, boom. The first chance, boom, goal.
Wow.
And I'm, wow, like, yeah, so I'm soaked in
Yep.
emotions because I'm like, wow, like, God is so unbelievable.
Exactly, man.
For
You
all the
just-
things to align perfectly and for me to score because,
Yep.
when you score a goal, that's a statement call. You're like,
Especially,
here.
man, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, starting
So-
after so long.
Exactly.
You
So,
know?
yeah, and like because of my injury, I hadn't
Yep.
really been ready. So,
Yep.
right when I scored that goal, it touches the net, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have a wonderful time at Duke, and yeah, the rest is
So,
history.
how did your coaches react to that goal? Like,
So,
I'm guessing they weren't even expecting you to score so early in the game.
No.
Okay. So, how did they?
no,
take that?
so yeah, I mean, my coach, he's like probably my favorite coach that I've had so far. He was, yeah, he's my guy. He's actually my guy, and I knew it all the way along, and that's why I was kind of pissed at the beginning when I wasn't playing because I was like, everyone joked they're like, you're his kid, like,
and then you never.
I kind of knew that, so he was hyped because obviously for him to make the call to drop a senior who had been there for like 4 years,
Yeah.
it was like he had to get it right. He put in. So I think they were both of my coaches. They were really hyped because
Okay.
they're like,
Yep.
now what? Like
Because
the
they
kid,
gave you that chance, hoping you would
Exactly.
step up to it.
Yeah.
And then you proved them right.
100%. So they're
Wow.
like, the kid scored. Like I guess we have to play him.
Exactly.
So
So from that point on, did it change? You like the way like your playing time and how did that affect?
well, after that, then. Yeah, after that, I mean, the rest is history. Like, I played every single game, started every single game from then. Yeah, like, I remember I wasn't even scoring, but I was getting a lot of assists. I was just like, my game was developing, and there was no way to leave me out of the team. So I basically started all the games in the season, and I had a
That
wonderful
season? First season?
Yeah, so.
Freshman year.
Yeah, my freshman year. And I
All this happening in his freshman year.
Yeah, everything happened
Beautiful.
freshman year.
Beautiful.
I became a starter after the beginning that I didn't play. Yeah, so
Yep.
I need to obviously be thankful to God because, the fact that everything aligned.
Just the way you
and
wanted
then,
it to.
the people that supported me
Yep.
all the way along, it was unbelievable.
So now going back going back home after that first year, man, now did it begin to feel like, you're representing your community at that time?
No, yeah.
You got your community on your back?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'd also, I took back a lot of Duke stuff, like, and all my buddies, everyone, my family, they were wearing those stuff. So, then I was like, this is it. Like, you're actually a brand. Like, you represent these people, and they look up to you.
Yep.
And they want to see you succeed.
Absolutely.
So, after I went home, and I came back. Before my sophomore year, I was a different animal.
Absolutely,
I was like,
man. You wanted it even more.
Yeah, I was like,
Yep.
I did this my freshman year, and that's just half of my potential.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna go crazy now. And
How did the rest of those years? So how long did you spend at Duke before you left? Because you didn't finish, right?
Nah, so I did 3 semesters. So I did my freshman
semesters?
year, and then
Oh my God.
yeah, I know it's crazy.
How old were you at like your freshman year? First
So I went in. How old was I? I think did I turn 18 at Duke? I think I turned 18 at Duke.
Crazy.
Yeah, I turned 8,
man.
and I think I don't know. Our first game might have been on my birthday, and I had COVID, and I couldn't play. So it didn't start quite well, but then
Piece together right.
yeah. So I did only 3 semesters really at Duke, and
So you came back from Ghana. How did it all play out? How did the season go after that?
Yeah, Ghana was unbelievable, and that's why I like going to that place because once I come back for some reasons, I'm just like,
even
I wanted more. Yeah,
it grounds you, keeps you grounded, right?
I remember when I went for that vacation back home.
Yep.
Like my first few days, I was like, wow, like, damn, this is what I left behind. Like,
Yep.
I need to make more of myself.
Absolutely,
Like, I want it
absolutely.
even more and
Yep.
more now.
Yep.
And it humbled me because I remember, like I said, with my host family, I had like Uber Eats. Like, my life was very comfortable.
Yep,
and
exactly.
I had just gone back and I saw the other part, like what I used to live like. And I
Yep.
was like, damn, like, I almost forgot about this part of my life, you know, like,
Yep.
and it's crazy. So once I came back, I was like, different animal. I was
Wow,
like,
man.
yeah, I'm gonna go crazy.
Yep.
And
I feel like every player needs that,
yeah,
you know.
100%. So that's why, I wanna, whenever I can go home from now onwards, I'm like, I need to, because
yeah.
like I know the impact it has on me. Once I go and come back,
Yep.
it's like,
Do you think
this is it.
it's a similar thing with like the other players? You know, like players like Michael, players like Richard, players like Eban.
Yeah.
You know, like is it like a similar thing when they go back and they come back? It's
I
like,
think, for most people, they find themselves and they find meaning. So I think that's the biggest part. And once you have that internally, you're good, because
Absolutely.
you know the stuff that matter in life.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you just find yourself. And
That's beautiful, bro. That's
and
absolutely
yeah,
beautiful.
talking from talking to a lot of the guys, like even Michael, when he went and he did that project.
Yep. Yeah. Michael Leon.
He
project,
came
shout out to
back
that.
and he feels like a different person.
Yep. Exactly.
And
Yep.
yeah, it does make
It really
a lot of
impacts,
impact
yeah.
in your life, and you're just happier
Okay.
after you go home.
Absolutely. So you come back, man.
Yeah.
Even hungrier now.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did the second season go? Right.
Nah,
How did
the second season was unbelievable. Because I remember the year before I went home, I had an offer to sign in the MLS, and I was like, nah, I love Duke too much. Like,
really?
I need to stay here for a bit longer.
Wait. So after your freshman year,
Yeah.
you already had an offer.
Yeah, so I had an offer to sign in the MLS, but I was like, nah.
With which team?
Well, so it would have been a GA contract.
Oh,
and then,
I see.
and then I would
Okay.
have been in the draft, and
Yep,
then blah,
yep,
blah, blah.
yep,
I
yep.
would have gotten picked by
But you
whoever.
freezing now. I want to spend another year in Duke.
Yeah, because I was like, firstly, like, just, you know, the opportunity that I've been given to be like, after 4 months that,
Yeah.
you know, coming back it's not a good way to appreciate the opportunities that you've been given. So I was like, nah, I need to come back. And
Yep.
but on the other side also, I was just like, nah, 3 goals, whatever assists,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
7 assists,
Already,
that's not
like,
me. I can do more. So I wanted to
I have
come
more to
back.
prove.
Yeah, so I wanted to do more. And yeah, second year when I came, I was like, I'm gonna try and be that guy for the team. Like, I'm gonna be the guy who, when the team needs goals, when the team needs whatever, I'll be there. So
coming in sophomore year, 19, 18 still?
so it's just, I was still 19.
Yeah.
I turned 19.
Yep, you turned
that fall.
19. How's that
so-
season? You know, like starter?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Starter.
I started every game.
Wow.
I played.
Man, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
10, number 10.
Yeah, 10 again. So,
How was that season, man?
unbelievable. I mean, all the guys also around. It was a wonderful team.
Yeah.
One of the best teams I played with. It was
Wow.
like good banter, good people, good locker room.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And I was scoring, and I was never really a goal scorer. So
Yeah.
I was scoring a lot of goals.
And assisting and doing all
And
that.
yeah, it's playmaking.
Wow.
I wanted all the plays to go through me. I was, working crazy hard, and then I had another successful year at Duke, and then it was much better than the first one.
Absolutely.
And after that, I was like, let me see what the future could look
Absolutely.
like. And,
So after that season, what happened? Anything?
So after that season, then I took the GA contract now, because I had known forever that it was gonna come back.
Absolutely.
Because I got the offer the year before.
Yep.
So I was like,
Yep. As long
it's
as you keep
gonna-
performing,
yeah,
it's
as
gonna
long
come.
as, I keep doing my thing and stay on the right path,
Yep.
keep working hard,
Yep.
blah blah blah. It was always gonna come.
That's
so
interesting.
so once I got that, I think for me it was more the feeling. I was
Yep.
like, my work at Duke is almost done.
Yep.
I'm not gonna
Yep.
develop
Wow.
as much here, I mean, the place, I love the place to be.
Absolutely.
It's the
Yep.
people,
But you felt like
unbelievable. But I was just,
you felt like you
needed something more.
Yeah, you need something more to keep on improving.
Exactly. So
So you signed. So you got another offer to sign the GA contract. How does, so first of all, for the people watching, like, how does the GA contract work? Like, walk me through that.
the GA is Generation Adidas.
Okay.
So basically, you just signing with the league to go into the draft. But I think they select probably like 2-3 people, something like that. I don't know.
So out of all the
Like,
people
yeah.
they give the offer
Exactly.
in that sign, like only a couple of them
Only
get
a couple
drafted.
get GA, and GA is supposed to be like whatever, like the top end of the contracts, and
Okay.
it's only like people from juniors to freshmen. So because seniors, you just put your name in the
Yeah,
draft,
yeah.
but to leave school, as a player who is in a senior, you have to
have that
have a GA before you can go to the draft, and
Oh wow.
so
man.
yeah, so
So you signed that, and then that's when you went into the draft.
exactly. So, but signing that was basically me declaring for the draft, and then
Okay.
I
What
went to the
happened?
draft.
So you went to the draft. Walk us through how the draft works.
So yeah, the draft is a bizarre thing. It's weird, obviously, because you don't have as much of a say to where you go and stuff. But what happens is, yeah, once I declared for the draft, a lot of teams will reach out to my agent and they'll be like, we want to set up an interview with him, just talk to him, know what he's about.
Oh, so before the draft. You
Yes,
guys had the
way
interview.
before the draft. So
Okay.
you have
interviews with different clubs.
with different
MLS?
clubs
Oh,
in the
interesting.
MLS. Yeah, so
Okay,
they talk to
okay,
you, blah
yep.
blah blah, and so yeah, and then so I did that, and it was so hectic.
Any specific, like, can you recall like some clubs that you interviewed with?
Yeah, I
type of
mean,
name.
I interviewed with a lot
If
of
you could say
the
it.
clubs that had the top end of the draft, because I mean, I kind of knew I was gonna
Yep.
go early in the draft, so. Yeah, so whoever was in there, I probably talked to them,
Yep.
like whatever, top 5, top whatever. I talked to a lot of the clubs, and then so a lot of people believe what team you're going to before
Yep.
the draft,
Yep.
and having gone through, you actually don't, because you could have an idea
Yeah.
of like what top whatever. So I didn't know until like, I think it might have been maybe 2 hours before my name was mentioned. Like, my agent called me and he was like, this is going to happen. And if you're still there by this pick, this team would pick you. So,
Really?
I had known, like, because I talked to Orlando a few days before the draft, and they were very keen on bringing me in. So, I had known, like, they could potentially take me,
Yeah.
but I didn't, because they...
But it wasn't really sure. You weren't really sure.
No,
about it,
because
but
they
yeah, like,
also didn't have their second pick, so they had to trade, like pay money to some other club to get it. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things happening. So
the back end, yeah.
Yeah, you're not quite sure until your name is actually mentioned. So I think maybe 2 hours, my agent had told me maybe that my name would be called by Orlando, and then...
So throughout that day, man, you're just anticipating the moment,
Yeah, nah.
just bouncing around to see which. So okay, so the hectic part was figuring out which club would pick you in.
Exactly.
Most players just like, am I even gonna get a club?
Oh,
so
right.
that's already huge.
No,
man.
that's
like,
for sure a blessing. Like I
Yep.
said, I've been in a position where I think God has always been there for me. And
Absolutely.
He's in every moment of
That's
the way.
crazy, man.
My life has been
Yep.
relatively easy. Like hence,
because of the work you've put in. It's not
well,
easy.
that, and then I guess the luck also, but
Blessings.
Yeah, a lot of blessings, I would say, is more the way to describe it.
Yep,
So
yep.
I had known, like, I was probably gonna go whatever top 3.
At
and
19,
then-
20?
Yeah, so I was 19, so I wasn't gonna.
Yep.
And then obviously I think the worst part of the draft is like leaving Duke, because like I was so attached to the place emotionally, and but some of the best years of my life, like I just loved the place. So leaving was, I think, figuring out if I really wanted to leave.
Yep.
It was the hardest part for me, because I was like, it's Duke, like you just don't leave Duke. So that was the hardest part. But once I found it in me that I wanted to leave, then it's like
It's easy.
let me go for it. And then yeah, it was the drive was an amazing day with the family.
Spending the family, you know, you
Yeah,
guys sitting on the
man,
couch
it's
just
good.
waiting.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah.
So walk me through the moment real quick, you know, when they finally called your name, you know, and it was official that, you know, like walk
Yeah.
me through that
Yeah,
experience.
it was probably one of the most emotional moments in my life because I had signed the contract before, so it was done. But that's when I knew, like, I'm gonna be pro. Like remember I told you at the beginning that I have my plan. I knew it. I was like,
Yep.
this is it. I'm gonna do high school, college, and
Just
then I'm
right
gonna
to
sign
dream.
pro. So yeah, that was the moment it all came
It all
together.
came
I was
together,
like,
and it's like, wow, this
I'm gonna
is it.
wake up
I made it happen.
every day, play football, and get paid. Like, doesn't get that much better than that,
Nah,
does
it
it?
doesn't.
So, yeah.
So
yeah.
you know they call your name. You know how did the host family take it? First of all, like how did they feel?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
they felt
like I
proud. I'm
said,
guessing.
they're very proud. They just so loving. Like for them, it didn't matter if I was
Yeah,
called
exactly. Yeah.
or I wasn't drafted or whatever happened. They were gonna be equally proud. But
Mhm.
yeah, for them to be there with me was unbelievable because, like I said, I love them a lot, and if my actual family couldn't be there,
Yeah. You want
those
them
are
to
the
be.
next people that I would want to be there for
Mhm.
sure. So it was lovely, and once my name was called, I smacked the laptop, all those stuff, and then we went out, we got food, and it was amazing. Yeah.
So, and I'm guessing after they drafted you, like, was there like an interview, like a short interview?
Yeah, actually, I think I did talk to someone in the MLS.
Yeah.
So I did
I remember
a quick
seeing that
interview.
video,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did a quick interview for them. And then right after I'd done the interview, then
It all hit, man. It like,
yeah, my phone was blowing. And
yeah,
I had to throw that thing away because I wanted to live in the moment.
exactly,
And then,
exactly.
nah, but then yeah, it was unbelievable. Then
When did you speak to your parents? You know, like your actual parents.
oof, well, I don't. Did I speak to them that night? I don't think so
Yeah.
because it was too late. In
Yeah,
Ghana.
exactly. Oh,
But
okay.
they
Yeah,
had
time
got
difference.
they got the link to the draft
Mhm.
because it
Oh,
was
so they're
streamed
watching it.
online. Yeah, so my brother had the link and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they saw a bit of it and yeah, it was nice. Then the next morning, obviously, I had to call them.
What did they say? You know.
I mean, my parents. So my parents, they've never seen me play.
Really?
0 times. So it's funny because all along they've just trusted that I must be good at football if all
If
these
you're
stuff
making it
keep
all,
out.
yeah.
So
That's crazy.
I don't think they quite realized the implication all along until then when I was like,
when you finally got
like
that.
I'm playing professionally and
Wow. And it
now
really
they
hit 'em.
understand. Yeah, they're like, oh, so you could play for the national team on that. I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, potentially. So
Yep.
they're like, oh, so you're at that level now. I was like, yeah, I'm at a decent level now. So now it was surreal.
Okay. So now you made it past the draft. So, you signed with OC.
Mm-hmm.
How was it? How was it? Moving to Florida, and training with the club. How was the first like encounters with the team?
I'm not good at moving to new places, and many people don't know that because I'm decent at putting on the face. Like when I go to a place, I can just smile it around, but I'm not like. Remember, I told you when I went to the academy at the beginning, I was crying every night.
Yep.
And when I came to the US, like the first few days, I was just like,
Yep.
So I'm not good at moving to new places. So the first moments I moved to Orlando, I remember I was staying at a hotel alone.
Okay.
So then I loved the preseason because it was a lot of training and I was doing really well. So it was going amazing. But then I'll go to the hotel and I'll be like,
all alone and
like, what is this? So I'm not really good at moving to new places at the beginning. So that was hard. But then the football was going really well. So I loved it. It was the quality was there and I was there. I was doing really well in preseason. So football was good. And then the social aspects obviously
took a little while, but then
I didn't know no one. I wasn't friends with like Tom Freeman, all those kids. So Abdi, Duncan, all those guys. I just moved here, so I didn't know any of them really. So
shout out to the homies though.
They're my guys, bro. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Those are my sons. So.
Absolutely. So, how was it playing with the team? So after preseason, now you're playing with the team now. Were you playing? So you signed a first team contract.
Yeah.
But then you were training with the first team and the second team,
Exactly.
but you're playing with the second team, right?
Yeah,
Is that how it worked?
exactly. So I signed preseason. I came in unbelievable. Like it was going really well, and then the season began. Obviously, it's the pro level, so there's a lot of guys in my position. Whatever the reason is, I'm not. So I'm on the bench a bit for the first team here and then. I started playing games with the second team, and that was obviously perfect for me because I was in a pro environment,
Absolutely.
training really well, and then
Yep.
being able to get games to develop.
Absolutely.
So I did that, and basically the whole season, that's what happened.
And that was last season or two?
So that was last season, just last year. So
was
that
just
was my
last
first
year.
Yeah. So I was
How old were
20.
you?
I was 20. Yeah, 20.
So are you still 20 or are you turning 20?
I'll be 21 in August.
Okay.
So
You're born in August? August what?
August 27th.
August 27th? I'm
How
August
about you?
17th.
No
man.
way. And Tom is like August something. Freeman, I think it's August.
No way. So everyone
is August. Yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we have to do something.
We have to do something,
Yeah,
man, when
say
August
that.
hits, bro.
100%, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
Tom and
if y'all watching, we gotta do something.
nah, for sure.
That's crazy.
Send the ideas.
Exactly,
Yeah.
definitely. So this season, how's everything going this season?
Nah, it's good, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been really challenging, but that's the name of the game. It's like, like I'm not where I would want to be. But having said that, I'm playing a lot with the second team, and it's going well.
Absolutely.
Thank God.
Yep. I see y'all boys going crazy this season.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yep.
it's going really well actually for me. And the team is doing well. So, like I said, at the end of the day, for me, it's always God and then quality.
Yep.
Always prevails. So,
absolutely.
as long as you keep your face strong and then you bring in the quality at the end of the day, quality is quality and God is God. So it always prevails. So I'm not where I want to be, and I know I deserve more. But I'm gonna go get it, and it's gonna happen. So I'm grinding my way, and we'll see what happens. But it's going well.
Just waiting for God to open that door for you, man.
100%.
So 2 more things before we close. First one, you said you don't feel like you're at the place where you want to be yet.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be? What's the vision?
Yeah, I would want to be playing way more for the first team. Obviously that's not happening. So ideally that's the level that I want to be at. I want, even if I'm on the bench, I want when the coach looks over at the warm-up, be like, this is the guy that I want to bring in to change the game or make an impact. So that's where I want to be. And obviously there's a lot of things that would have to happen.
Absolutely.
Starting with me looking at myself in the mirror and being like, what can I do to make it happen?
Absolutely.
So
and I'm sure you're doing that already.
Well, yeah, I think I'm trying. So
Yep. Is there any advice for players who are back at home in Ghana that are looking up to you, that wants to, make it out?
Yeah.
Right? Whether it be to signing pro, playing college, and players that are here also that are looking up to you and that wants to play pro. Like any advice you have for them along their journeys?
I would say, I always say to dream big, because people underestimate the value of dreaming big, because dreams do happen. And I'm saying it firsthand. From my experience, I had a goal, I had a dream. I was like, I'm going to do this, and slowly, but surely it's happening. So why not? Like, it couldn't hurt just dreaming as big as you can. And I love the quote in the Coach Carter movie. It's like, your deepest fear is that you're powerful beyond measure. So
okay, preach.
And once I watched that movie and I saw it, I was like, wow, that's the advice everyone should be taking. It's like, people are powerful, and you can always attain your goals. So
absolutely,
you should always dream big.
Well, Shaq, man, it's been an honor having you on the podcast, man, talking or going through your journey. I feel like, especially after listening to your full story, man, like I feel like God has blessed you with this gift. This gift to continue pushing, to keep on going as far as you can. I really do believe that you will make it. It's a matter of getting that opportunity. The same one with Duke, where you just need that opportunity to shine, and I feel like it's coming. Just keep your head up throughout it all, and it's gonna happen. So with that being said, man, it was an honor having you on the podcast.
For sure.
You know, hopefully in the future we can have a
Okay.
part 2.
Nah,
you know,
for sure, Brody. Let me know, bro.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it doesn't take a year for me to show up. Damn.
I mean,
Nah, it's
you're a
good.
busy
It's
guy.
good.
You know, shit happens, right?
For sure.
But then again, man, it's an honor having you on the podcast, man. And thank you for trusting the podcast.
Yes, sir.
To come and share your story, man. Thank
Ah,
you so
you're
much.
the man, Brody. Thank you for having me.